All right, let's start this off with a really personal question. But I gotta warn you, the answer, it might just change how you see yourself, both online and, in the mirror. Okay, so be honest with yourself for a second. Think about the last time you had to update a profile picture, maybe for your LinkedIn or Instagram or even your gaming avatar. It doesn't matter which. How long did it take you to find that perfect photo? How many different filters did you swipe through? And what about that bio? How many drafts did it take before you sounded just a little bit smarter, or funnier, or more put together? If any of that sounds familiar, well, you're definitely not alone. The thing is, we're all architects of our digital identities now. We're carefully building and curating the version of us we want the world to see. But this really simple act, it opens up a pretty fascinating and maybe even a little scary question. And look, if this all feels a little too philosophical, I'm about to show you one single number that's going to make this whole conversation feel incredibly real and, frankly, pretty startling. 70%. Just let that number hang in the air for a second. 70%. What in the world could that possibly be about? It's this. A study found that 70% of Gen Z users feel more confident expressing their true self through an online avatar than they do in real life. I mean, just process that for a moment. For a huge number of people, their truest, most authentic self, it's a digital creation. And that right there, that's the heart of what we're talking about today, the authenticity paradox. It's this really strange, very modern feeling where the self we build online can actually start to feel more real than the person we are in the physical world. So what this paradox really forces us to do is rethink what identity even means anymore. Clearly, it's not some fixed single thing. It's become fluid. It's actually helpful to think of it more like a spectrum. On one end of this spectrum, you've got your physical self. Yeah, the you that's listening to me right now with all your amazing strengths and, your perfectly normal human flaws. And on the other end, that's the idealized digital self, the one that's been carefully engineered to be perfectly witty, super successful, and totally flawless. Most of us, we're living somewhere in the middle, kind of sliding back and forth on that line every single day. So this all leads to the big question, right? Is this new, fluid, digital identity a new kind of freedom, or is it a trap? Let's explore both sides of that coin. Okay. Let's start with the positive side, the argument for freedom. You could see the digital world as this incredible, safe laboratory for discovering who you are. A place where you can try on parts of your personality that you might not be ready to show everyone in the physical world just yet. Just think about the possibilities here. The person who's maybe a little shy in person can step up and become a bold leader in an online gaming guild or a community forum. Someone who feels boxed in by real-world stereotypes can just break free and explore totally new ways of being. In this light, your digital self isn't a fake mask. It's more like a window into who you could become. But that's only half the story. So let's flip that coin over and take a look at the much darker side of this paradox. Because when that gap between your idealized online self and your real, everyday self gets too big, that window of potential starts to feel a lot more like a trap. All that pressure to constantly perform, to be that perfect version of you, it leads to total digital exhaustion. And that safe space for self-discovery, it can curdle into a nasty case of imposter syndrome, that nagging, awful feeling that you're a fraud and you're just one wrong post away from everyone finding out. A sociologist really nailed this whole shift perfectly. They said, we used to build profiles to reflect who we were. Now, we build profiles to discover who we want to become. That simple little change from reflect to discover, that's at the heart of everything. So, how do we get out of the trap without giving up the freedom? How do we find the real you in all this? Well, what if the problem isn't the answer we're looking for, but the question we're asking? Let's try to reframe this whole thing. What if this whole search for the one true, real self is actually the problem? I mean, maybe that whole idea is just outdated for the world we live in now. What if, instead, we have many real selves, and each one is authentic to a different part of our lives? A really good way to get your head around this is to stop thinking of your identity as a single, solid statue
and start thinking of it like a wardrobe.
See, your digital self isn't a lie. It's just one piece in your whole collection. Think about it. You have an outfit for work, right? And another one for just hanging out with friends. And probably a different one for a big family holiday. Are you being fake in any of those moments? No, of course not. You're just choosing the part of you that fits the situation. Our digital selves, they're just more outfits in our wardrobe.
And when you see it that way, you can finally stop asking which version of me is more real. That question it completely misses the point. The professional you, the relaxed you, the ambitious online you, they're all real. They're all authentic. They're just different outfits for different occasions.
So the real question isn't which outfit is the real me. The real question, the one that actually matters, is this. Who's opening the wardrobe every morning? Who is choosing which self to present to the world? In other words, who is the captain of your ship? Because as long as you're the one at the helm, making those choices consciously, you haven't lost your authentic self at all. You've just unlocked a much more powerful way to express it.